Hello and welcome to episode 5 of my Football Manager 16 beta save. I'm Kev, and as you can see I am still manager of Tottenham Hotspur, and I've made it to the transfer window. It's the 1st of January 2016. You can see from this little league table here we're having something of a resurgence, and 20 games into the season, so just over halfway through, we're actually dead on where the media have predicted we're going to finish, and in quite a good position to push off and maybe even push towards those Champions League spots in the second half of the season. It's going to be a bit of a tall order. As you can see, there's quite the gap between that top four and ourselves, Liverpool, Everton and West Ham, who are chasing for the Europa League spots and to try and catch up, but there is a significant gap. So Champions League is a tall order, but hopefully we can carry on as we have been and secure one of these Europa League spots again and call it a good season after all the kerfuffle earlier on. If we have a look at the games we've played since you were last with me, I think the last game I had on the live com was this one, the 3-1 home win against Man City. Which obviously, this one was a bit of a turning point for the season. Beating one of the top four clubs so convincingly has sort of given us the confidence to go on a fairly good run of form. There's still been a few blips as we go over these matches. We have had a little bit of a change of tactic in the Europa League. Those first four group games, we were very much putting out the reserves, and it got to the point where 4 games in, it was looking like we might not qualify for the first knockout round. So I decided for the last 2 games, make sure we qualify, put out a stronger side, and we did that. We won 4-0 against Rapid Vienna, and that is a obviously much better result than what we had been getting in the Europa League. And then just skipping ahead a couple of matches, we did the same thing in the final match against Dinamo, won 1-0 away. It was a 90th minute winner, but you can see we absolutely dominated them in the stats. And that led to us in Group H picking up a second place finish, which if we go forward to the first knockout round, you'll see that we're now playing against Dnipro in the next round, which is a very winnable game. And suddenly, if you look at look at the teams who are left in this tournament, it's starting to look a little bit winnable. There's a couple of big clubs in there, but I don't know. That might be something that we can push on with in the second half of the season. Another winnable tournament is the Capital One Cup. We're still in that. We've got the semi-finals coming up against Birmingham, which obviously Birmingham are a championship side. So I would like to think we've got a Capital One Cup final coming up. We beat West Brom 3-0 in the quarter-final. Still very much going for the backup team in the Capital One Cup. Probably still do that in the semi-finals as it's against a championship club. Certainly in the first leg, we'll see how we get on, and then obviously see what happens in the final. I would imagine it's going to be a final against Man City, which we know we can beat on our day. We beat them on the last live com. So potentially a trophy available to us there. The season's not looking as bad as it was in the last episode. If we just run through the rest of the league form, straight after the Man City game, we went to Tottenham. We lost fairly convincingly. They got a couple of early goals, then just sat back and kept hold of the ball. Created a lot of chances, didn't really let us have the ball, and we were just totally outplayed in that game. Which I guess that's going to happen from time to time. We know we don't have the best squad, but it's how we bounce back. And the next game was against Aston Villa at home. We won 2-0, played much better. We're still struggling to keep hold of possession. I usually do like my Football Manager teams to dominate possession. I'm really struggling to get this Tottenham team to do that. But importantly, we are starting to pick up the wins now. We went away to Sunderland and got a 2-1 win. Dries Martins finally starting to justify some of the money that we spent on him in the summer. 6 goals in 15 games now and a pretty decent average rating. He's becoming a very good player in this newer system that we're playing. He really is enjoying that inside forward role. This was another disappointing game at home to Arsenal. It was particularly disappointing because I think we played quite well. Obviously, we still struggled for possession. We were always going to against Arsenal because it's something we've struggled with against much weaker teams, and Arsenal are top of the Premier League at the moment. But we were 1-0 up, and we were 1-0 up for half the match, and their goals, the two goals from Oxlade-Chamberlain did come very late, and it's a bit of a shame because we really could have. It felt for a long time like we could get something out of that match, and just a little bit unfortunate that it turned around the way it did at the end. But then again, bouncing back properly, we go away to Stoke, pick up a 3-0 win, looking very comfortable. We've actually beaten a team for possession, only just, but it was nice to get more possession than a team. And then we've been on a little 3-match unbeaten run since then. We went away to Norwich, 1-1. Should have won that really, but they've got a late equaliser. Again, they completely dominate us for possession. It's something we need to work on, but I'm reluctant to fiddle with it too much while we're winning matches. And then we played Stoke again, having beaten them 3-0 away. We then played them at home a couple of games later. Beat them 1-0 at home. Again, just slightly beat them for possession as well, which is good. You'll see Clinton and G is playing a couple of games at the moment, and that's because for the last few games, Harry Kane has been injured and Dries Mertens has been injured, so we're kind of down to bare bones up front. This guy at the start of the season had no plans to even think about trying to use him, but he's sort of by circumstance had to come into the team, and you can see he's played. Well, he's actually only started 2 league games, but he's played 4 league games in total, got 3 goals, and he's playing really, really well. So perhaps we don't just have one striker in the squad after all. Sado Barrinho is available again in this transfer window. Everyone seems to be after him, but we just have no money. I got a very exciting message from the board saying they'd release some more transfer funds for me. All they'd actually done is taken my transfer budget up to just under £1 million, which is next to useless. So thanks very much, board. It looks like unless we have some players leaving, we're not going to be doing much business in this transfer window. That being said, we might have some players leaving. Nabil Bentaleb is in a huff because I can't give him a new contract. I want to give him a new contract, but I can't. He's not even in discussions now, but because I've given some other players new contracts and we're quite a way over our wage budget, the highest wage it's letting me offer him is £170 a week. That's £170 a week, not grand. And so rightly, he's in a bit of a huff and he might end up having to leave. His current contract, where does that live on this new screen? He's still got 2 years to go on his current contract, but only earning 16 grand in a team where everyone's earning 60 or 70, he's got a bit of a grumpy on about that. And if I can't increase that salary, I think I might have to let him go just to stop him being disruptive in the squad. Man United are up to their usual tricks as well. They want Eric Lamela and Nasser Chadli. So I'm possibly inclined to sell one of the attacking midfielders or wide players purely because we've got so many of them. If we look at who we've got who can play in that position, so if we just filter our squad to attacking midfielders, we've got Dembele's been playing in midfield, but we've got Lamela, Ericsson, Chadli, Son, Ganso, and Townsend. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Missed out Ganso. So I don't know that we need 6 players who can play in that position. As you can see, some of them aren't really playing many games because of it. Ganso's only started 8 games. Townsend's only played 6 games. So I'd be willing to let one of those players leave if we could get 25, 30 million pounds for him, which would then allow us to go and get Barrinho. But we'll have to see, I guess. We really could do with having another striker in the club. As it's the halfway point of the season as well, and I don't really have much in the way of transfers to talk about, I just want to talk you through how the squad is getting on. So if we just pick out a couple of the key players, so if we sort by average rating, you'll see that so far this season, Eric Lamela has been our best player by quite a long way. 21 appearances, 5 goals, 7.45 on his average rating. Ben Davies has been doing really well at left back, but then so is Danny Rose. We're kind of in a really good position with our left backs in that they're both good enough for a sort of top 6 or 7 Premier League side. So really happy with what we've got at left back. We'll ignore Ng's, he's only played a couple of games. Dries Mertens has been playing really well. 15 games, 9 goals, 7.35 on his average rating. Kieran Trippier, probably our first choice right back now. Although Kyle Walker has not been doing too badly, and sometimes now we've finally got the guy whose name I can never remember, Toby Alderweireld. Now he's finally fit. Eric Deer isn't a first choice at centre-back anymore, so he's sort of played a couple of games at right-back as well, so we're quite blessed in the right-back department as well. At centre-back, probably the find of the season is this guy, Kevin Wimmer. 23 years old, didn't even consider him as an option early in the season when I was selling players and selling players off and bringing new players in. If I'd have realised this guy was going to turn out to be as good as he is, I probably wouldn't have signed Alex. But he's now considered by our assistant manager to be the best centre-back at the club. He's certainly had the best average rating. He's only played 12 games, but most of them have been in the last 12 games, and he's doing really well. So centre-back wise, we've now got Wimmer, we've got Alderweireld, we've got Deer, so we don't really need Jeremel and Alex. So I'm willing to let Alex go in this transfer window if anyone is daft enough to be mugged for him the way we were. And then anyone who's seen my Up the Posh save will know that, as usual, I can't get central midfielders to perform, and you can see they're all down here on their average rating. I don't know if this is just a Football Manager thing. If you are able to get central midfielders to perform, let me know in the comments how you do it, because I never get them above a 7 average rating, and it's no different in this save. Bentaleb, Dembele, Mason, Witsel, they're all down as the lowest average ratings in the first team squad, and I don't think they're the worst players. They're just, for whatever reason, the systems I tend to play don't seem to favour central midfielders. So yeah, let me know in the comments how you get your central midfielders to perform, especially if you're using a 4-2-3-1 like what I'm using. So anyway, enough of that. We're going to get straight into today's game. Obviously, Harry Kane is still injured, so we've got Son up front in this game. Usually Harry Kane plays as a target man on attack. When I've got Son or Ng up front, though, I do switch it to advance forward on attack, purely because those two players haven't really got what it takes to play target man in the same way Harry Kane has. What it does do, though, is it puts a little bit more space between the striker and the advanced playmaker, which then kind of stretches the defences a little bit and might allow us to get in behind the Chelsea defence and use the pace of Son to hopefully push against the likes of John Terry, Gary Cahill, who are a little bit slower. But I guess we'll see who's in the Chelsea lineup. So let's submit our team. Yeah, we've already picked our team. That's fine. This is what we're going for. So the media have actually got us down as favourites. We are at home, but I'm surprised to see us as favourites for this match. Chelsea are a top 3 team. They destroyed us earlier in the season, so very surprised to see us as favourites in the match, but it just shows the progress we've made over the last 6 weeks or so. No, well, in fact, no, we're not going to discuss any transfer stories today. I would like to buy a striker, but we have to sell first. There we go. So what have we got here? We've got John Terry, who obviously is a bit slow, but John Stones can perhaps get across the cover. Interesting to see Azpilicueta is playing as their more attacking fullback, the way we use in this game Ben Davies or Danny Rose to do that same thing. But what it does mean is when Eric Lamela is coming in as the inside forward, there's potentially going to be space for him to exploit between Azpilicueta, who's pushing forward, and John Terry, who's just being slow and John Terry. So fingers crossed we can exploit that area there, but let's see how we get on. It all depends on whether or not we can defend against their obvious attacking threat at the other end of the pitch. We might not get much opportunity to exploit anything if they just come at us and attack us, because their forwards are certainly a lot better than our defenders are. There we go. Son, because he's playing as a advanced forward, you see he's coming out into these positions where Harry Kane never would. And it just makes us slightly more dynamic going forward. And there's Son in an excellent position. I suppose that's the downside to having him in the side, because that's the sort of chance you would expect Kane to put away. But that's a good corner. Dembele picking it back up again, out to Eriksen and Dembele. Bentaleb now on the edge of the box. Come on, we need to get a shot away here. This is part of our problem. We try and work the ball into the goal too much, and we've not got that on as an instruction. But we've got another corner here. This is a really good spell of pressure. We're only 4 minutes into the game. Come on, let's whip across in. No, there we go. Highlight over. Normal service resumed as our possession starts to drift off again. Right, looks like we've got a Chelsea highlight here. Hazard just running through without anyone going to him to stop him doing it there. That's something that could really be a worry later in the match. In fact, there you go. Our assistant manager identified the same thing. Hazard getting far too much space on the edge of the area, and we need to be closing him down. But I'm really reluctant to pull anyone out of the defence to go and chase him down, because we've got to worry about this guy, Diego Costa. But Hazard in acres of space again. Kieran Trippier's just cutting in too far and just leaving him completely unattended out there. Is that Trippier playing? Yeah, it is Trippier playing today. Have I got Eric Dier on the bench? No, he must be injured. Oh, Dembele, and that was a clear-cut chance there for Moussa Dembele, and that really should have been 1-0. Right, come on, let's get the ball back across again. Ericsson to Dembele again. Dembele's had another excellent chance, and Chadley now, and that's 1-0. Fantastic. We really are looking like a different side to the one from 2 or 3 episodes ago, and that was an excellent goal from Chadley. Let's watch that again in the 3D, because he's put this into the net from such a tight angle. Excellent finish. Right, now we just need to try and hold on to it. We're not doing too bad for possession, actually, considering who we're playing against. We're fairly even, 45% possession. The way we've been playing this season is pretty good for us. And we've created more shots than them. They're all on target, and we've had 2 clear-cut chances. They've had none yet. It's really encouraging performance so far. Just need to hold on to half-time now. As expected, John Terry's being dominant in the air against us, but that's only to be expected when we don't have Harry Kane in the side. Again, not connecting with too many of our crosses, purely because we're not really playing with a striker. With Son as an advanced forward, he plays almost like an extra inside forward. So we've got him and Lamela both sort of drifting around, drifting out wide, cutting back in. It's nice and it's dynamic, but we don't really have anybody right up there leading the line the way Harry Kane would. Don't really want to give Costa the time to turn. That was some good closing down on him there. Right. Oh no, that was poor goalkeeping. Trippier saved him there. I don't know what Lloris was doing there. He just seemed to lose the ball completely. That looked like it was his, and it bounced out of his hands maybe. Right, all quietening down again. Chelsea have just made a substitution. I'm wondering if it might be reaching that point of the game for us. I'm not quite sure who I'm going to bring off. Lamela looks like he's not having the best game, but I can't remember who's fit and who I've got on the bench. I think Dries Martins is still injured. He would be the obvious choice to come on for that inside forward role. Who else have we got out there? Andros Townsend isn't really the guy I want out there. I could bring Ng on. Lamela's now injured, so he's forcing my decision. I think what we might do is bring on. Should we bring on Ng and then stick Son out wide? Ng has been in decent form. Because I've got these two swapping, this is where it all gets a bit complicated now. Right, I want Son to ultimately end up out wide. I think I have to do that to trick the the match engine, because Lamela should be over there, but he's swapped over there as part of them two swapping over. So I think by doing that, Ng will make his way up front. But let's see. There we go. Yeah, we guessed right. Awesome. So big game for Ng to come into. He's not really played against any of the top opposition yet, but he has been playing well. So it would be wrong to deny him an opportunity just because I didn't really rate him at the start of the season. I think I'm going to make another substitution now, actually. Bentaleb, have we got someone to come on for Bentaleb? Not really, so perhaps we won't take him off. Son, I'll give Son another 5 minutes and perhaps bring Townsend on for him, just to try and keep enough energy up front there to allow us to continue counter-attacking the way we have been so far. Certainly don't want to start slowing down and losing our pace advantage against the Chelsea defence. Go on, Son, through to Ng, and Ng has scored. Oh, it's gone down as a Zuma own goal, but I'm having that as an Ng goal all day long. Let's watch that in the 3D replay. Son does really well to turn there, Ng onto the ball, and that's just a deflection. That's an Ng goal. There should be a way for us to appeal that. Right, let's take Son off and bring Andros Townsend on for him. We just need to try and hold on to this match now. 2-0 against Chelsea is fantastic. I might just switch us to a defensive strategy. Switch it to highly structured as well. And now I'm just going to make one more change. Who have I got on the bench who I can bring on? Ganso might be a player to come on. I think I'm going to bring Ganso on for Ericsson. Again, it's just purely about keeping energy up front. Please don't concede here. Oh, that's going to make a stressful last 5 minutes. I don't know if I want to stay on defensive now because it's just going to invite them at us. In fact, I would have left it on defensive at 2-0. I think I am going to switch back to counter now, purely because with the attacking power that Chelsea have, I don't want to invite them onto us for 5 minutes. So we're going to go back to counter. We're going to go back to structured. Hopefully they don't score before that change goes through. Right, come on lads, we just need to hold on now. You can see Chelsea have just flipped up a gear in the last 20 minutes or so and have now had double the amount of shots that we've had. They've still only had 3 shots on target all game long. Oh, and there's Alderweireld. That's 3-1 and that is game over now. Let's switch back to contain and highly structured. And just, it doesn't matter if Chelsea pull another goal back now. We just need to hold on and keep every man behind the ball. So let's switch to highly structured. We also want to retain possession. Probably should have paused the game because we wasted about 2 minutes of game time while I was doing that. The changes probably never even went through, but we've won 3-1 against Chelsea, and that is a fantastic result. And that really does put us in a lovely position going into this second half of the season. We're 21 games in now. We've won 11, drawn 2, lost 8, 35 points, but we are starting to look and play like a top 6 side, which is excellent news. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you stick a like on there for me. I am still trying to get to 20 likes on every one of these FM16 beta episodes, so please pop a like on there. I am very grateful for each and every like, and make sure you get involved in the comments. Let me know what you think of the save so far, and keep an eye out for the details of my long-term FM16 save. I've released a video a couple of days ago. Have a look at that. It's shaping up to be quite an interesting save, so subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss out on that one. Thanks very much for watching.